and check how many hours I worked last week because I'm pretty sure it's in the 80s.
Just like the weather.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Hey-o.
Hey, oh, I don't even know where my phone is. It's probably over there somewhere. That's fine.
Sweet
I
freedom.
can't move. I have a cat on me.
Okay, is this... Hold on, is this
Is this
live?
thing on?
No, I got like a... I got a an error here. Okay, we're live on YouTube at least.
The Twitch seems to be working.
I don't want to re-authenticate. Screw it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna bother. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, did you send us show notes today, Boston?
Private only to me. Nope.
Yep.
Put in this one, put in that one, and then send magic.
The show notes are there are no show notes.
That's right. Nothing happened this week. Everything was fine.
I mean,
When does this episode come out, by the way? Monday, right?
Tomorrow. Yep.
What is it, Tuesday?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Happy birthday, Justin. I hope you have a good one. I don't know if
birthday,
you're still a
Justin.
patron or not because of your situation. Have a good one.
Okay. Are you
Also,
guys...
get some like lightning protectors for your house, please.
Okay, are you guys ready to get started?
after that
Yes.
PSA, yes.
All right.
Make sure they're properly grounded.
That's right. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to a brand new episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier
Hi? Question mark.
and the Noob.
Hello.
Quick plug here for e1m1.cash. You know the deal. $5 a month tiers are recommended. Thank you. $5 a month is a recommended tier. Early access, exclusive shows. We had a really fun Outcast this week. You should go sign up for that. It's really hot where the other two guys are, so I don't want to have us pontificate about
Yeah,
how you
it
can
sucks that the
support us.
person who lives in a literal desert
Right.
is like, no, it's nice over
It is.
here.
It's 70,
and the rest of us who are
74
surrounded
here.
by water.
Moderately sunny and 74 here, which is usually it's the opposite.
102 in Michigan right now. It
So bad.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But please go support us over there. We are listener supported. You guys pay for all of our hosting, and anything above and beyond that helps us pay for software and hardware and stuff like that. So e1m1.cash.
The ones and numbers. I actually got to say it this time.
That's right. Moon, what have you been playing this week?
We played Repo on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Was that this Friday? Yes, it was this Friday
Yes.
because I had to not stay up until 2 in the morning because I had to work on Saturday. Yes, that was definitely this Friday. We are getting better at Repo. I will say that.
Okay.
Nice.
That map mod, when you can see the map when you're dead, it's a bit of a game changer. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Also, the appropriate level of trolliness was out and about with the speaking deadheads now.
Okay. How did that work out?
Pretty solid. It's really funny because like when you're using the TTS, it's proximity based, just like the actual chat is.
Oh, okay.
So like you can see the text show up through the walls, but it's really hard to see because it's just a head at some points. And it's really hard to figure out where the dead people are.
That's really good.
Ran into a couple of different monsters, not modded, for the record, not modded, different monsters. I ran into the monster who steals you. I don't know what his name. I know what a streamer or two I watch call him, but I'm not going to refer to that on a PG-rated podcast. We'll say
Appreciate that.
that much. It involves a certain online trend. Anyway, I ran into that thing who, when there is a monster that picks you up, giggles, breathes, and runs away with you and carries you across the map,
Oh boy.
you think, okay, that's not too bad because he technically doesn't do any damage. He literally takes me and throws me into the basement,
Okay.
almost like he's been playing too much Dead by Daylight.
Right. Right.
And then leaves you alone and goes and finds somebody else to kidnap and steal.
Sure.
Minor problem is when the huntsman is the other monster on the map.
Oh no.
was gonna ask, is he dropping you off in a good location for the other monsters to find you? Like, are you in the pit of nightmares?
No, but he'll pick you up and run past the hunter while you're on.
Oh, and the hunter starts
Hunter
just
following.
shooting
The
everywhere.
hunter starts going off,
Oh, boy.
and he's just like kapow, kapow, kapow.
Jeez.
It's like, well, I just got kidnapped. They don't know if I'm dead or not, so we'll hope that they know I'm alive.
Right.
And then, drop a piano on my head, that kind of stuff. The usual repo nonsense happened.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. It was too short-lived. We are definitely getting better at the game, and now we're at the point where it's time to start experimenting with different weapons.
Right.
We are all terrible with melee, is the lesson I can tell you that happens this week. Like, terrible.
Yeah.
Especially when the melee weapon in question is the inflatable hammer, and it operates exactly like an inflatable hammer feels like it would.
Yep.
Which is just spectacular. I will say, though, the hunter did kill a couple of enemies for us, because a couple of enemies came after us, and the hunter got them. So, good on you,
okay.
Mr. Hunter.
Yeah.
It seems the key is make sound near other enemies. So, maybe you get like a little thing, and then just have it hovering away from you and tap it on the floor behind somebody. Maybe that would work. I don't know.
Project your voice and say, "Hello, I'm an enemy."
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, start singing Bohemian Rhapsody when you're dead. The usual things everybody does.
With the TTS, Mama.
Yep. It was.
Ooh.
We all just started doing a bunch of song lyrics the whole time.
That's
It
right.
was exactly as unhinged as it should be.
That's right.
Especially for, a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Which is key operating time. Other than that, I want to lodge a complaint against my co-host.
It's me.
It's you. Yes, it's you. It's the one above me.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't had a lot of mental capacity to do a lot over the past... What month is it? June? 3 months, we'll say.
I was going to say 2025.
Yeah.
I went into this year with a grand idea of like a plan I had in mind where it was like, I'm going to make everybody jealous about my game of the year list at the end of this year. It's going to be so good that it's just going to make everybody's face melt, and then everybody's just going to be jealous of the things I have accomplished this year.
You got 10
So how's
number
that going?
ones.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Basically, that was the plan.
Right.
It was like, hey, I want the quality level of my game of the year for 2025 to be 10 number ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
It
I
turns
don't
out
think
it's
we
not-
showboat enough on this show.
No, the best show on the internet.
It turns out that's not going to happen this year because of personal life situations. There's a lot going on. The gents are aware of it, but I will leave it there for the listeners. So that means my brain capacity went from like big brain thinking, like that movie with the guy who likes showmanship. I haven't seen that one either. Add that to the list, I guess. All the way down to like Ren and Stimpy sized brains.
Yep.
Where it's just like the stupidest things ever. So I was like, okay, what can I do that's not going to use up too much of my mental bandwidth? I know, I'll play something I've played before.
Yeah.
I have an even stupider idea for next year, so I want to get my achievements rounded out to a nice even number, so I'm going to play Moonlighter. And I'm going to play too much Moonlighter. And I'm going to complete Moonlighter, which I did update the Discord team on after I'd done it, which I had to load up the PC version and get the PC version to do the achievement check before I could get it to pop that final achievement for achieving every achievement.
Right, because as you suspected, the get every other achievement didn't work.
Which I don't understand
shocker
why
shocks.
that's a big issue on Xbox.
Right.
That like 90% of those apparently don't work.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the way it checks for the achievements. So like I think
That's
when
what I
it
assume too.
when it checks when it unlocks an achievement, it checks the other achievements and says, okay, is there any more? No? Okay, pop this final one. Whereas I think on Sony's side of it, I think they do like a check every single time for every achievement kind of thing. I think it's the way the math works out for it. So that's why I had to load it up on the PC version, because then it did the initial quote unquote achievement check. And it went through and was like, okay, got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Wait, this one is for all of this, but this one is not. Let's just give them that one. So then it unlocked that achievement for me. Now I'm playing a different game, which also has a get every achievement.
Oh boy. Oh no.
And the get every achievement is 51 out of the 1,000 gamer score.
Boo hiss.
So now I'm playing Despot's game.
Oh no. I love this game, but what are you doing?
Apparently, I'm trying to win King of the Hill 100 times because that's what it takes.
God, Moon.
Apparently. And for those of you who don't know, to play King of the Hill in Despot's game, you have to beat the game. You have to beat a roguelike to get to the King of the Hill mode.
Right.
And then you get maybe 4 or 5 shots at the King of the Hill mode. And you have to win 100.
Yeah. And you only get a chance, you only get to play it when you finish an entire run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of a roguelike.
Yeah. That isn't, I wouldn't categorize Despot's game as easy.
No, even on easy mode, spelled with a Z, it is not an easy game.
I'm sorry, Moon.
Why do I do this to myself?
That's a great question.
I mean, I know why I'm doing it to myself. It's because I don't have the brain capacity to think of anything else right now.
And an auto battler is the best place.
That is this thing's prime thing. It's like, yep, it's an auto battler. I set up my team. I hit the Y button. They fight. If I win, great, move to the next one. There is very little thinking that needs to be done.
Yep.
Controls are still a little iffy at the moment, but it plays itself. So that's fine. I can deal with that. I can get that done.
And it's a good game.
I just need to, And yes, it is a genuinely good game with pretty stellar music, to be completely honest. It's got very drum and bass music system in there. So like playing it is fine, especially because I can literally like be listening to something like an audiobook or a streamer or cleaning or organizing documentation or doing any of this other stuff at the same time.
Yep.
And just next room, hit Y, next room, hit Y, next room, hit Y.
Yep.
I did forget about the mutation system in the game, but I learned my lesson and remembered about it, so now I'm doing fine at the game.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know how many previous victories in King of the Hill I had.
Okay.
So far, this count is at 5.
Okay, and it's not. It does. We've had this conversation before, and I will never remember. Does the Xbox achievement stuff? Will it say on some games? Will it say like a percentage?
On some games,
yes. Yeah. Same with PS5,
on this
where
game,
it's like a bunch of games will be like, yeah, you're 43% of the way through this, and I'm like, yeah, I am. That's great. And other games, it's like, do 100 of these things. I don't know. I'm not keeping track.
It was really great for Moonlighter because when you killed the boss with the sword, with the brush as the final kill, it was like, congratulations, you got 26% or whatever it was. I was like, cool. I know I did that boss, now on to the next one.
Right.
This game doesn't tell you anything, dude.
Of course.
There isn't even a stats page where you can look and see what the number is because it doesn't give you the stats.
Of course. Great.
So expect a lot of me talking about Despot's game for the foreseeable future, or until I get bored / distracted / whatever else happens in the meantime.
Right.
I also played, thank you, Boston, Gunfire Reborn, which is another game that has odd-numbered achievements in it.
All these roguelike, the roguelike developers have to stop this.
Show is next on my list.
Oh, God.
You know what else is on my list? Signs of the Sojourner, because that also has odd-numbered achievements, for reasons I don't know.
I don't know, man. Video games.
I have a group on my Xbox now specifically titled FU games.
These games are my enemy.
Yes, because I've done I because I would prefer to not play the same game for 17,000 hours to like level myself back off again.
Right.
But if that's what it takes, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's right.
But I did get to 100 out of 1,000 in Gunfire Reborn, and I'm done with that game because I'm not taking the risk of unlocking another achievement for 13 gamer score in that game.
Also, like, let's be honest. You and I did not click with that game as much as seemingly everybody else did.
We did not, and we also played it single player.
Right.
Everybody else seemingly played it co-op with friends and everything else,
Right.
but by the time we got to it, it was one of those games where it was like, yeah, we were done with that like 6 months ago. It's like, okay, great, thanks. Like, I guess
I'll just go to hell over here then.
go screw myself, I guess.
That's right.
Yes, so that is that. I got the 100 on that one. I'm working on Despot's game.
Your odd
Signs of the
roguelike
Sojourner.
adventures.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, I'm actually looking forward to getting back to Show at this point because it's like, it's a game I played recently. I still know how to play, and the achievements, some of them look nightmarish.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has a get all of the achievements achievement, by
Of
the way.
course. Man.
It's Sony's fault because Sony did the whole platinum thing.
Mm-hmm. But
they
works.
hadn't done the platinum thing.
So, like, yeah. For
Yeah,
anyone that
and
doesn't
crossplay works too, by the way.
Hey, that's
but Sony
also
sure
Sony's
doesn't seem
fault.
to embrace that.
For anyone that doesn't know what Show, it's a Shogun Showdown. We just played that on We Roguelike
Yes,
It.
one of the most recent roguelikes that we played for We Roguelike It. Yeah, dude, I don't have the bandwidth to think, so I'm literally just, hey, I've got 15 minutes. I'm just gonna jump in and do the thing.
Yep. It's the best way of doing
because
it.
that's all I can do at the moment. I'm so drained. I'm so tired. I'm like dead, and it's hot and sweaty. Nimp, tell me about what you've been playing.
All right. I have been playing more of Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
I have completed this game now.
Hey, nice.
Oh, look at you.
I had a few days off, and because of the poll, I'm like, all right, this is the game I'm focusing on now. Obviously, I'm not going to get into any spoiler stuff, because I know a lot of other people are still playing it, including Boston at some point. But I will say, if you are having issues with this game, just bump it down to story mode. Don't be a hero.
Right.
It's so much better on story mode. It's not as punishing if you miss a dodge or a parry. It's like you're taking like 78 points of damage instead of 200 or 300 points of damage.
We were talking about it on Pup recently too. Musin was saying that he thinks the parry and dodge windows are larger too. Did it feel like that?
So they actually, from my understanding, they released an update and they increased the parry and dodge in the story mode. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they should
nice.
be a little bit wider, not like a ton, but a little bit more for people.
A little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I do have it. So I beat the game in about 32-ish hours.
That's not bad.
Once you get to chapter 3, you kind of have free roam of the map, which I discovered there is a bunch of stuff on there that the main story does not direct you to. Because I did not do a whole lot of exploring in Act 2. So getting into Act 3, it was like, oh, there's like this whole section of the map that's still got a fog of war over it that I've never been to, so I would go over there and check it out. There's like all kinds of points of interest over there, all of which I am not at the appropriate level for. A lot of these turn real quick into, hey, these are all like side dungeons and not like your, well, I guess they would be like your normal ones, but not like, hey, here's like, you can get like an extra item or, whatever. No, these are like end-game side dungeons where it's like you walk in here, and if you're not the right level or you're not good on your parry, you're just going to get wiped.
Oh, okay.
And there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Interesting.
All right, cool. So you do start to get more like character, like party member side missions where you go and help them, and then you unlock certain quests. Once you complete those unlock certain abilities for those characters. And there is one for a group of people that I have that I am not using them, so they're not really equipped to be in fights.
Oh.
And I was doing absolutely fine with the parry system. However, I knew that if there was going to be a phase 2 to this boss, I was not going to make it.
Mm.
And sure enough, there was a phase 2, and it completely changed how this boss was working.
Of course.
And I missed one parry, wiped my entire party.
Jeez. All right.
It's like, all right, cool. I'll have to mess with that later. But for the most part, there are multiple endings. I'm not sure how many.
Mm.
After I had beaten the game, I had looked it up, and I had originally thought that I had received the good ending.
Okay.
And my note stated, if this is the good ending, I don't know if I can handle the bad ending.
Right.
No, it turns out I had the bad ending. I'm like,
Oh,
okay. That's
Okay.
a little better in
that
context.
that sounds very Plague Tale.
Right.
Exactly. So it's just, all right, cool. I'm glad that worked itself through. But generally, because I don't want to spoil anything about this. I'm not going to talk about anything story related, really. But I will say, to kind of help you, Boston, and other people who are playing this, you're going to get to an enemy type that they're going to specifically call out that this enemy is in the east.
Okay.
When you go through this area, there's going to be flying enemies, and they're going to be able to charm you.
Mm.
And the only way to get an anti-charm Picto is by fighting an optional boss in this dungeon, where they tell you, hey, this thing doesn't seem like it wants to fight. We don't have to fight it. We can move on.
Mm-hmm.
No, you want to fight that thing.
Oh, okay.
It's going to help you get that Picto, and it's going to help you in the future in so many ways.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that. Don't skip the optional boss.
Fight that adorable creature that doesn't want to fight you.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt you if you don't fight it, and not in a good way. So, but outside of that, man, I really enjoyed the story for this. Like I was saying with the ending that I got, it was kind of like super bittersweet, which was kind of why I was like, man, I don't know if I'm in the right state of mind for a bad ending.
Yeah.
But I didn't do a whole lot of grinding either. I did check out like a couple other areas when I got into the final act. I was level 60 or like 61 when I fought the final boss.
Wow. Okay.
And I didn't have major issues, but it was definitely a thing of if I had slipped up, it would start a domino effect. And I've played enough JRPGs to balance a domino effect.
Right.
So it wouldn't have been horrific. It's not the worst thing I've ever fought as a final boss, but it definitely would have made it a lot longer. But the whole fight, though, for the final boss was like very cinematic. And the entire time I was just sitting there thinking, man, I miss having legitimate summons in RPGs.
Yeah.
This game does not have them.
Okay.
But there were certain things where it's like certain enemies were being highlighted in certain ways, and you're fighting fangs that are just massive. And I'm like, God, I wish I could see like a Shiva or an Ifrit, you know, just come in here and just mess things up, you know? But I love this game. It is a fun, well put together game. And probably this year will score pretty highly on my top 10 list.
Nice.
And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything about this game. So it's a really great game, and it's only like $40. So it's like, if you've ever been interested in checking it out, I highly recommend picking it up and checking it out. Just throw it on easy.
Game Pass too, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. And then they also, for all the crybabies out there, with the patch that increased the length of the parry and dodge windows, they also added where when you go to the flags to save and whatever, there's an additional tab there that you can click on that's called like challenge mode or something like that. And you can limit the maximum amount of damage you are doing to enemies and you can increase the amount of health that enemies have all the way up to 200%.
Wow. Okay, nice.
So you can make it so that I believe the lowest maximum damage you can set it to, I believe, is like 999.
Okay.
Which that is going to be like hours. That's like Ozma all over again.
Yeah.
Just don't do that.
Yeah.
But you can max it, or you can keep it so that the maximum is like 9,999, and that's fine. But yeah, that's there for people who want it. Throw it on expert mode, bring all that stuff to maximum settings, and then just have at it. Quit your crying. But
right.
It's a great game. So. Next game, I very, very lightly touched Halls of Torment. I still haven't really figured anything out in that game, so I just blew up a bunch of stuff, unlocked some more challenges, and then moved on with my day. So, the last game that I have, and I know Boston's already played this, is Division 2. So this is going to be my kind of lead-off game.
That is, I played a lot of the Division 2, but I'll go second here.
So the most that has happened so far, my son and I were going to play it again this weekend and just haven't had time. So I think we're going to try to play it again tomorrow together. But we have, oh crap, I think we completed the Air and Space Museum was
That's
what we just
mission.
cleared.
Yep.
Yeah. And we now have, I'm trying to think, our armor little pips have gone up from like whatever the basic was to like we have like 2 or 3 more now because we've played enough. I think we're both 15 now.
Okay. Making good progress.
So yeah, and I have found a couple new weapons. I have this assault rifle that I absolutely love the sound of because it sounds like a beast when I'm shooting it.
Okay.
But it's like it's a fully automatic, but it's slow. So it's like you hear go boom, boom, boom.
Is it an assault Is it an assault rifle or is it just a rifle?
It's an assault rifle.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's got a 30 mag, and I really love it because when you're shooting down range with it, your little aim indicator just barely nudges as you're shooting. It's just a straight shot the entire time. So it's like I'm just knocking out headshots with this thing. It is the most wonderful thing ever. And then we found a boss that was happening in the overworld, and that wiped us.
Okay. They can those can be pretty surprising if they sneak up on you.
Well, so I think we discovered the mission that my son had selected is a story mission, but we didn't notice that it's like a level 40 story mission for some reason, or it's there's like a level 40 area next to it, and so we wandered into that area,
right?
And then I'm like, wait, these guys have way too much armor. I think we took a wrong turn somewhere.
Right. We're in the wrong zone.
This elite enemy shows up and just starts lobbing grenades like everywhere. I'm like, no, we need to back up. Like we can't do anything with this. And then I think they were like a level 400 character just happened to be around and wandered into the zone because we were like right next to a safe house or something. They wandered into the zone. The dude started taking out some of the ads, and I'm like, well, we're doing damage to the big guys, so as long as we stay back, we should be okay. Take a couple pot shots at him, and that level 400 spun around, shot the dude once, blew him across the map. It's like, or I guess that happens. Hooray! And then we got like a bunch of XP for that.
That's great.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we've done. We're just goofing off, trying out new stuff. So,
I did a ton in Division 2 this week. So I finished another run of the Summit, which is the skyscraper 100 floor one, and in another run and doing a bunch of stuff in the open world, I finished that exotic project that I had gotten the other week to craft the. It gives you the blueprint for crafting the exotic chess piece. So I finally got that blueprint, completed that. That was a lot of work, but was never really unmanageable. It was just a lot of like, okay, I'm just gonna get this as I'm playing a lot of the game, which is kind of how I want missions like that to go. I crafted that weapon or the armor piece. It's pretty good, but I don't really have a build for it, so I probably won't be using it anytime soon. I use my primary build is a striker build. So it's the striker green set, which is largely like, as I do more damage, I do more damage, and it kind of scales very quickly, but scales back very quickly. So that's kind of a fun. It's kind of a fun, pretty standard build that I'm having a bunch of fun with. I tried another couple runs of Descent. That's that roguelike mode. I'm feeling a little bit better about that overall now that I'm getting into it and kind of getting the flow of how it goes. Basically, you finish like in each area, you do 3 individual rooms, and you get to choose your difficulty for those. And then you do kind of a bigger arena battle where you fight like 2 waves of enemies and kind of a big, like a yellow health bar boss. And then that's considered a loop. So you're trying to do a whole bunch of loops in a run. And then once you get the, I don't even remember what they call it. But the Nemesis seems to be the kind of end boss of Descent. And every time you clear a room, you're increasing your, it's some percentage. Basically, like, once that percentage reaches 100%, it seems like you'll fight the Nemesis. I got to 89 or like 93% on my my last run, and did the dumbest thing I've ever done and accidentally blew myself up with one of my skills, which I needed to hit L1 instead of R1. I basically hit R1 as I was like looking down sights and just blew myself up completely. It's like, cool, that sucks. So that's pretty fun. I know there's some exclusive stuff you can get in there, but none of it seems like it's stuff you 100% need to have. Or like, it's not something that's going to make or break a build. It's always like, oh, if you get this chess, you could get this chess piece in there, or like the plans for a chess piece and craft it. Or you could go get it in the DZ, or you could go get it by focusing in Countdown, or you can do it like, thankfully with how many activities there are in the game and how many loot sources there are, it isn't really like this one piece of gear is the best thing and it's only from the DZ. So, which I greatly appreciate. Speaking of the DZ, I spent a whole bunch of time in the DZ this week. I'm trying to get all the trophies in this game, and I have 1 trophy left.
And you guys call me crazy.
I only had like 7 trophies left, and now I have 1 trophy left. So a lot of the trophies that I had left were like, respond to an agent's call, and because if you get downed in the game, for anyone that isn't playing, if you get downed in the game, you can hold triangle and put out a call out in the open world to say like, hey, I'm really struggling with this mission or this control point or just like this open world boss or something. Can somebody join my game and help me? The trophy was join someone's game through a call like that and revive them. And you don't have to revive them like immediately. You can do it at any point during the mission or whatever. Or if you're like me, you got it accidentally because you're horsing around with a skill you've never used for another trophy. So I got that done. How I got that done is I noticed I had never used any of the hive skills. And hives are, it looks like a kettlebell with a bunch of stuff hanging on it. And you just chuck it at enemies and they'll start a fire, or they'll send out seekers, or they'll do a whole bunch of other stuff. And I thought, I've been playing the open world on the hardest difficulty, which is called Legendary? So whatever, it's basically 3 chevrons and a star. It's the hardest difficulty you can set the open world to. And the riot shield guys with the axes in the outcasts are my mortal enemy, because you're firing down sights with a a rifle at somebody who's like 300 yards away, and the next thing you know, you're down because there was 2 of these jerks behind you. So I equipped, instead of my healing drone, I equipped a revive hive, which basically, when you die, when you get knocked down, it automatically revives you. But it has a really long cooldown. I think it's like 240 seconds or something. So it's super long. And I had some pretty good success with it, of like, okay, I did something really dumb, or I have like all my armor got knocked off. I should have healed myself instead of just trying to take down the boss that's like has a flamethrower. You should have been smarter about that. I forgot to take it off when I answered a call for somebody, because I've been answering calls when I'm like at the White House, and it's like, oh, okay, someone just has an open world call. I'll go help him. No big deal. As soon as I landed, it was a one in Brooklyn. As soon as I landed, they were doing a level 4 control point capture, which basically every enemy is a boss. So it's just waves and waves and waves of bosses. And it's like playing an old Call of Duty game where they're just like two-handed chucking grenades, and there's everything is on fire. Like, it's a nightmare. As soon as I spawned, I got killed because I was still like spawning in and I couldn't take cover. As soon as I died, my revive hive brought me back and gave me the trophy. It's like, you revived an agent after doing a call. And it's like, technically, yes, but I don't think that's the spirit of the trophy.
Hey, if you get it, you get it.
Yeah, like,
sometimes the spirit doesn't matter.
I'm not going to complain. I actually got 2 of them because there was one for Brooklyn and there's one for the base game, and it gave me it for both. So, hooray!
Nice.
I got a trophy for taking a picture of 4 agents at once, which I just did in Countdown because it's an 8-player thing. So as soon as everybody spawns in, take a picture real quick, and you got it. I have to apologize to everybody I was playing the Division 2 with today. I got the last 2 Dark Zone trophies that I needed. And I want to give it...
And they were the bad ones?
They were the mean ones. Well, one of them isn't mean. One is definitely mean. I tried to make it as non-mean as possible. I have to give a big shout out to a YouTuber called Rogue Gold, all one word, that I have found recently. I don't even remember how I found his videos. He has really, really good build guides where it's kind of like no nonsense, and it isn't like, this is the best meta, the pew, 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 unstoppable, YouTube videos.
25-minute video that doesn't actually tell you anything.
Right. He put out a really good Dark Zone build guide that was, I think, like 12 minutes, and like the first 4 minutes of it that you can skip is basically gameplay of like, you want to see how good this build is? Here's me fighting off groups of 3 or 4 people and not going down, which I can attest to works because I fought off a group of 3 people in the middle of a control point earlier today and managed to survive and clean up the control point.
Like 3 other players?
3 other players.
Or 3?
They jumped me out of nowhere when I was just like cleaning up a bunch of mobs. I was like, okay, well, let's see how good this build is. I'm going to pop my 2 skills, and I wiped the floor with them. And then I left because they were
yelling,
very
noobs,
angry.
noobs.
So he has a really good build. I spent a little bit of time this week kind of farming the last couple of pieces that I needed for the build. I had most of them just through playing. And this is why I was playing a bunch of Countdown. Countdown showers you with loot for doing virtually nothing, and it has the gear focusing like we talked about with Summit as well. But you're getting an astronomical amount of loot through these. So it's basically like, all right, I need to focus for, like, I think it was like Harris Walker and Co. Is one of the manufacturers. I need like 3 pieces from this one. I'm just going to focus for this and just scoop up everything I see, I'll sort through it at the White House. This build it's ridiculous. I have 1.2 million shields at base before I apply any of my skills or anything in this.
I didn't know this game was getting into high numbers like that.
I didn't either.
So I guess that explains why I see so many people with like a 25 line armor set or something like that.
That's me. Yep. And it's really interesting because it's a really smart build because there's also a skill on one of my armor pieces called Companion that is basically every piece of gear that I have is the main core on it is weapon damage. And I have them maxed out at 15% a piece. And was that times 6? So that's 90% extra weapon damage before I add on my guns that also have that on top of it and a bunch of other stuff. The main skill Companion is whenever you're near a skill of yours or an ally, you get an increased 15% weapon damage. So I'm kind of above the doubling rate. And I have the little explosive, I don't even remember what it's called. It's a little rolly ball thing. It's the explosive one.
Oh yeah, like the Sonic Mine or something like that?
It's literally like the roller mines.
Yeah, the roller ones. I have the explosive one, and they last for like 2 or 3 minutes if you don't send them off to explode. So I'm getting an extra 15% weapon damage for just rolling around with this guy. I am mowing down everything in the Dark Zone. Like, it is... like, now I see why I was getting destroyed earlier. Because I was like, why are these guys just melting me immediately? And it's because of this. And then whenever someone knocks down all of my shields, I get 95% of my shields back. And then I get a little, like, green healing mist that gets dropped on the ground that regenerates my health for my shields for 5 seconds. So I'm unstoppable, man.
That feels awesomely dirty.
It's really good. But the thing is, everyone else is running that same build, so it's kind of the, like, putting you on the same playing field as them. The 2 trophies I got were, and I got a bunch of other trophies that, like, aren't super exciting this week. One of them was killing a rogue agent in each of the Dark Zones. So it's just, you got to wait until somebody, like, does that little, like, tapping thing on their shoulder and they pop the watch and they go rogue. And then just murderize them. Got that pretty easily this morning. Just waited until somebody saw my little, like, contaminated pack jangling on my back, and they're just like, and then I turned around and destroyed them completely. So that one was pretty easy. The one I really wasn't expecting to get today, and I feel really bad. I feel really badly about it. Is the other Dark Zone trophy is you need to hijack an extraction in an occupied zone. So an occupied zone for the Dark Zone, there are 2 normal ones, and then there's one that has the biohazard symbol, but it has the knife through it. And you can only do it once you've cleared the story. This one, that one, the Black Tusk have taken over, and that's the one where stuff kind of gets serious in the DZ. That's like the real mean one. What you have to do is, when you hijack someone's extraction, I don't know if, Nimp, if you've ever seen it, Moon, you probably have, but when the helicopter comes down, they drop a little rope, and you attach your contaminated loot to the rope, and then after the helicopter's done, it leaves and it sends all that stuff to your stash. What you have to do is, you don't have to go rogue. I had to in this instance, but you have to go and you have to cut someone else's loot off of that rope and make it drop. But you have to do that in the occupied zone. I felt really badly about doing that, but I I went in and I saw somebody in there that had just put their stuff on the rope, and I saw that they were Shade Watch like 30, and they had like maybe 7 pips of armor. And I was like, I'm really sorry, man, but this is my best option. So I just tap that watch and go rogue, and I cleaned the floor with them. And I'm like, I feel really badly, and then I
never would have pictured you for a bully, Boston.
Here's the thing. Here's how I made it better. I tried to.
Come on, great redeemer.
Did you send him a message that said "Stay in your lane, Noob"?
No.
And then
so what I did
How
was,
about thanks for the trophy, wench.
That's right. How about that one? I sawed the gear off, and as soon as it dropped to the ground, it gave me the trophy. So I left their gear right there, and I didn't pick it up. So they can go back to that same point and pick that gear back up if they want to extract it again. And basically,
you shot him 7 times in the back of the head.
No, I faced him. I faced him straight on. I was as honorable as I could be. And then as soon as I got that trophy, I got the hell out of the dark zone. It was just like, this is too much. The thing is like, I don't mind being in the dark zone. I think it's fun. I wish it was huge like the dark zone in the Division 1 was.
I also wish there was a PvE option in the dark zone.
Well, the PvE is the stuff I like doing in the dark zone. So it's clearing out the landmarks, getting the gear. I don't really like doing the supply drops. That's where only one person can really claim a supply drop. I'll let someone else do that. But I do like going and kind of choosing your difficulty and clearing out landmarks and extracting the stuff. I think that stuff is really fun. But for the longest time, if someone was going to jump me, like someone jumped me earlier today, I had helped this other agent clear out a landmark, and it was pretty spicy. They couldn't have done it by themselves. And as soon as we cleared the whole thing out and we looted it, they turned rogue on me. And it's like, come on, man, I just helped you clear it. All right, fine. I murderized them. And I was just like, I'm not going to take your gear, even though I should, because you stabbed me in the back. But I'll be nice this time. I'm going to remember your name. But you better be cool. I took their gear next time because they tried it again.
Heck yeah.
But, like, that's the sort of stuff I like doing. Like, I'm more than happy to help random people get gear. And there's always going to be the people that are going to the Dark Zone just to do the PvP, which is fine. But, like, I'll probably go in there every once in a while, especially if there's, like a good loot focusing, or if there's some like exclusive loot I don't know about in there that's really good, because I have a really good loadout now, but I don't think it's going to be the place where I'm going to spend the majority of my time.
Yeah.
And I'm happy I have all of the Dark Zone trophies now. So like the hardest trophies in this game are completely locked down. Just
nice.
Great.
What, now that everyone has heard your success story, what was the name of that YouTuber's again?
Oh, Rogue Gold, all one word.
There you go,
Rogue
everybody.
Gold.
So if you want to be successful,
yeah, it's a one he put out recently, and he has a bunch of videos. So there's raid exclusive exotic weapons, and one of them is Eagle Bearer. It's like a apparently really, really good assault rifle. And you can only get it in the raid, but you can also get it in the Dark Zone, but it has like a sub 1% exotic drop rate. So like you have to get an exotic, and then that exotic has to drop. So the numbers are really against you. But if you spend the majority of your time in the Dark Zone, you might have a chance of getting it to drop, and then you somehow have to extract it. So he's been doing a series where he's trying to get that one of those raid exotics to drop from the Dark Zone. So if you watch any of those, in the description he has linked the guide that I used. So it's pretty good. It worked for me. So big shout outs to Rogold.
But don't take my word for it.
That's right. Don't take my word for it. Take this YouTuber's word for it. The only trophy that I have left that I will get this week. I still have a couple trophies left for some of the DLC. There's one that's very confusing, and I still can't figure it out, where it's like, complete a seasonal manhunt on challenge difficulty. I don't know what any of those words mean together. So like I've got to go look. I got to go look on that. I wasn't able to look it up because True Achievements has a wonderful ad blocking message that you can't dismiss now on their website, which is really great. Go to hell.
F5, dude.
Yeah, I would say if you refresh, sometimes you're able to get past
Tried that. But
okay.
It's also because I have a pie hole on my whole network, so like it blocks the DNS level. But also, I understand that you want me to turn on ads. I can't. Internet ads are the worst, bro. Like
I have found this weird collection of ad blockers that has fully allowed me to just not see YouTube ads at all.
Wow. Lucky.
And yeah, I know. And everyone has been complaining about it's like how bad they've been getting recently. And I'm like, I don't ever see them. And I don't know what I've done to make this work. So I haven't touched it in months.
I'm not even going to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In grand TVGP tradition, though, my last trophy for a Ubisoft open world game is going to be the arrow to the knee. No, the arrow to the knee joke trophy. For shooting 10 enemies in the leg with the crossbow. What is it? The signature weapon, I think they call them.
Yeah.
Weapon.
So that will be my last trophy, since Moon just did that with Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Nice.
Yep.
I'll keep the tradition going. But this week I should have the platinum in Division 2, which I sort of stumbled into in a way that, even a month ago looking at those trophies was like, I'm not getting that. I'm not going to DZ.
Yep.
What are you, nuts? But here we are. I'm doing it.
I'm doing a solid game.
I love it. Like I played
it's 12 years old now.
No, it's this season is year 7, season 1. I just saw that in the menu, so it's 7 years old now.
Maybe I'm thinking of the first division then.
First division, yeah, that might be 12 years old now. At least 10.
Yeah.
But I'm still having a like this is the thing that I played the majority of this week, and it's just I'm just having fun, like knocking out a bunch of trophies. I'm having a bunch of fun knocking out the commendations in the game, which are the like kind of in-game achievements. I'm having a lot of fun of like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's a fun thing to do. Or like, oh, I haven't really used the artillery version of the turret skill. Let's try that. I need to get a couple of kills of that. And I'm like, okay, that was actually pretty strong. So like, I'm having fun. And we're like a month out until the next Destiny expansion. So like, it's kind of the best time to pop into this for a while and be like, all right, here's a brand new season. Let's check this out at the Division. And it's like, yep, Division 2 is still real good. So I'm having a blast. Next game here, real quick, Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta. Finish run 2. That was really bad. Again, Ranger, Dancer, Geomancer, Geomancer, Beastmaster. Finished that run. That was a real struggle. I had to grind a lot at the end of that run just to survive the final boss's attacks. I had a real fun moment of teaching my kid a lot of JRPG final bosses have multiple phases, because I destroyed the first phase of that boss because I'm doing like 4 9s worth of damage in the first phase. The boss didn't even get a chance to attack, and my kid was like, wow, you beat the final boss that quickly? And I was like, oh no, no, if only.
Important life lesson: if a boss seemed too easy, you're only on phase 1.
Right. That was just the tree form of the final boss. So I actually Monkey Senior from the community posted in Discord that he was going through in order the different run types you can do. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a lot of fun, because I probably would have done a meteor run again, which is just like, just give me whatever. So the first one on the list is a regular run. It's like, okay, these other 2 runs have been trash fires. Surely a regular run will give me something manageable. It's guaranteed. Nope, it absolutely not. I have Thief, Red Mage, Geomancer, Dancer. Sucks. real bad. I have to get one good one this year, right? One of them. I'm begging you.
You don't.
One of them.
No, in the year 2025, this is the best you're gonna get.
That's fair. What was I thinking? So that run, I'm wrapping up World 1 in that run. This one's a real struggle. I think it will probably shortly be a little bit more manageable in World 2. I think finishing out this run is going to be a bit of a bear. And then I don't remember what my next run will be. It might be a Sirocco run. But we'll see. But still enjoying it, even though all of these have been just punishments from some angry god. But yeah.
Well, in the nicest way possible. I hope it continues.
Thank you. See, the thing is like these runs are fun because I have to bend the game in ways that I normally wouldn't have to. So like having
And these games, like for those who are relatively new listeners, Boston knows this game inside out, backwards and forwards. Every single aspect of this you are down with.
Right. And like Final Fantasy V is designed so impeccably that the best part about the Fiesta is literally any of these groups can finish this game. We are unfortunately finding out on the Discord server right now, Faeror has a real dog of a run right now, and she's really struggling with the one of the last bosses in World 1, and it's kind of exhausting my knowledge of how to break this game. I have suggested she should cheat because I think part of the fun and the thing I disagree with the creator of the Fiesta is I think if you're having fun with the Fiesta, that's the main goal. I don't think you should necessarily adhere to the game 100%, like the Fiesta 100% of the time, all the time. Because like you get in this point where it's like, anybody would say like, oh yeah, you could beat this boss, no big deal. You just have to level up to like level 30 in World 1. That's the level where you can finish the game. Like that feels unrealistic. So we'll see how we can get her through there, but I'm chancing in the background of cheat. So we'll see. But Fiesta continues. If anyone wants to play it, forgeoutfiesta.com. Come join us in the Discord. It's really fun, and we'll help you. There's a bunch of us in there that know the game really well, so we'll help you run through it. I think we have a couple of new people doing it this year, which is very exciting. So, all right. Last but certainly not least, FBC Firebreak. Played a bunch of that this week with the Destiny crew.
Yeah, I got a rundown on. Apparently, this is quote unquote real fun.
I had a blast with this game. Let's get the obvious out of the way here first. There's no tutorial in this game whatsoever. There are a couple of text boxes that are basically like, hey man, here's how to set up a loadout, and here's how to research items, and here's how to do a bunch of other stuff. And then the game pushes you into your first level, which is called Hotfix. And if you don't want to stick with the game, running your first level is not going to feel very satisfying, because as you complete levels, you can then replay that level to make them longer, which I'll get to in a minute. But when you play through the first time, you do basically one objective. Like in Hotfix, you fix one fan, and then the game is like, okay, get back to the elevator, activate that thing, and let's get out of here. So like you could spend 10-15 minutes running through your first mission, and then that's kind of it, and then you're back in the menu. But I think Firebreak is a game that is going to reward you a lot by sticking with it, and if at all possible, having a crew of people that you're going to be on voice chat with. This game inexplicably does not have voice chat. I really don't know why. So like the combination of seemingly short levels, no voice chat, no tutorial, it is pushing a lot of people away from it nearly immediately. I think people are being a little bit too harsh on this game, but wouldn't you know it, that's the internet. Part of what I think is a lot of fun...
People are harsh on a Remedy game? Really?
Well, a lot of the feedback, I think, which isn't fair, is a lot of people saying, like, I don't know why they made this game. This isn't Control. And it's like, yeah, you're not wrong, but, like, they can make other games, and that's fine. Anyways, I don't care what the internet is saying. Part of what I think is great about this game for me is the kind of me and my squad figuring out how the game works run over run. Because the game is actually giving you a bunch of feedback that if you're paying close attention to it enough and you're reading the kind of like pop-up tooltips that are coming up and you're talking to the people you're playing with and kind of sharing knowledge, I think that was half of the fun for us of like, oh, okay, so I just tried this thing over here and this did this thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Or like setting enemies on fire sounds like it's a really good thing, but it just makes the hiss stronger. So try to put the hiss that are on fire out so they get weaker, and then they get weaker if they have the kind of wet debuff on them. So it turned into like, okay, all three of us are going to run, they call them, what part of it is your loadout? I think it's kits. That's essentially how you play your job. Like I was running the fix kit, and it's this big wrench that you hit stuff that needs repaired with, and it will repair it faster than you can do if you were just using the strangely appealing QTE game for repairing stuff, which is basically you're hitting L1 and R1 based on prompts on the screen, which shouldn't be fun at all, but it's genuinely a blast. So like I was running the fix kit, Hannah was running the splash kit, which extinguishes fires. Most importantly, extinguishes fires players that are on fire, because if you're not near a shower to put yourself out, or you're not under a sprinkler, which, pro tip for the game, you just shoot the sprinklers on the ceiling and that will turn into like kind of a shower for you. And then Bill was using the jump kit, which I don't entirely remember what it does, because I just ran the fix kit the whole time. But part of the fun for me is seeing these levels unfold time after time. So the first time you complete a level, you complete stage 1 of it. And after you complete stage 1, it's basically like one room of the map. So like with hotfix, you go in, you fix the one fan, you go back to the elevator, and then it starts like kind of a Left 4 Dead crescendo event of like, you started the elevator, you have to wait for the countdown to finish before the elevator opens and you can escape, but there's going to be a like a big named enemy that spawns. There's going to be a ton of hiss that spawn. So that event is kind of fun, but the first stage of that goes by pretty quickly. But then when you do that, you unlock the second stage. So you'll start with that first room you did, and then you'll do another room after that. So for hotfix, as an example, you fix that first fan, and then the next room is a way bigger area where you have to fix between like 7 and 10 fans. And a lot of that is like you and your group are encouraged to stick together because you lose shields and kind of overall health the further you are from each other. So like you're kind of, as a SEAL team, you're moving from one point to another, like fixing this stuff very quickly and trying to avoid the fans that are just spewing out these giant jets of fire. When you do that, then you go all the way back to the elevator, you start it and you get out. And then you start, once you do that, you unlock level 3 of that stage. And for hotfix, you do those first 2 areas, and then the third one, you have the furnace from the Bureau of Control, and you're feeding barrels. You're like shooting barrels through into the furnace there with on zip lines. And every time you send a barrel through there, it overheats the furnace, and the whole room catches on fire. So you're kind of feeding a bunch of them in all at the same time, and then hiding as the whole room catches on fire, and it blows away every single enemy in the room. And then you're kind of repeating that until you're done. I had a lot of fun with it. I think about halfway through when we were playing, I think we played for probably about 2 hours. I think about halfway through when we were playing it, we kind of asked each other of like, how are we all feeling about it? And all 3 of us were like, I'm actually having a really good time playing this. And I think if you're in a position like we are, where you're willing to sit down for a little bit with people that you play with frequently, or you kind of have like a crew of people that you're gonna check out the game with, I think that's the real magic of it. And if you're kind of going through and trying to figure stuff out and having an open mind and just experimenting, I think that's where this game really shines. I think there's some stuff that's a little bit confusing, like when you're in the skill tree and you're trying to unlock stuff and upgrade it, it's not entirely clear at the beginning that you can't get the second level of upgrade materials until you clear the 3rd stage of a level, and then you can add on anomalies. So like the normal anomalies you'd see from Control can start popping up in the game. That's when you can start getting some of the additional upgrade materials. I have seen some of the anomalies. There's one, the snare drum, when it's around, makes enemies like twice as fast. The stoplight is back, so anytime the stoplight hits red, everybody needs to stop for a couple of seconds. So like, it's still Control at the end of the day. It's just, and you're fighting the same kind of hiss you normally fight. It's just, you're also playing with friends, and it's kind of a live service game in the way that Helldivers 2 is a live service game. So it has the same kind of like banner system that Helldivers 2 did, where it's like, all right, you're going to be picking up like research materials in the level. Since it's Control, they're like manila folders that have it's essentially like the pickups from the game. You're picking up those, like the lore pickups. And those fuel the upgrades in the skill tree, and then those fuel the buying stuff from the banners. They just put out a patch, I think it was either yesterday or today, that splits out the first banner that they put in, because a lot like Helldivers 2, you kind of have to complete the majority of the first page before you go to the second page. You complete the most of that page before you go on a third page, and so on and so forth. The thing that wasn't very obvious at the beginning is there's only 3 weapons in the game. 4, maybe. Like an SMG, a shotgun, a pistol, and a long rifle. That's 4. But you can upgrade those by getting the upgraded version of them from the banner. But the frustration that we were seeing pretty immediately was you had to get through a bunch of like non-gameplay stuff, like stuff you can spray paint on the walls and emotes and stuff like that before you could get to a gun upgrade or a gameplay upgrade. So they just patched it recently where they've split out that first banner. The one banner is here's stuff that is gameplay upgrades like new guns and new gear and stuff like that. The other one is here's your emotes, here's your sprays, here's your other stuff that isn't really gameplay specific. So I appreciate that. That should make unlocking and progressing through the actual game stuff way easier and a lot smoother. But we're looking forward to playing it again this week. Like I'm really looking forward to checking it out again because I had a lot of fun, and I want to see. There's a bunch of dials you can change in the game. So I already talked about the stages of like how deep you go in the level. They do have just a difficulty bar, which is like easy, normal, difficult, and extreme. We were playing on normal, and with kind of the base level items and upgrades, it was still a pretty good challenge. Like there's some stuff that was messing us up pretty nicely. And then when you complete stage 3 and you can do the anomalies, there's a slider for how many anomalies you want to be in the stage. So you can have none or 1, 2, or 3. So I kind of like that idea of being able to kind of curate and craft the difficulty for each one of these stages. I think initially there's 5 stages, there's 5 levels in the game. I initially thought that sounded kind of low, but I think with the difficulty options and how long these missions can get and the anomalies and all that stuff, that I think that seems okay. And I think they've said that there'll be more classes and more maps and stuff coming for free later. So I had a really good time. I feel like I'm kind of losing it because I feel like I'm like the 3 of us were the only people that seem to have fun with this in a way that I'm sort of like, you guys aren't having fun with this? Like, this game's a blast.
I will let you know when it's installed and I have time to sit down and play with some friends. Rob, you already know you're on the docket for this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And I think if you have a group, you can play this solo and you can play this with duos, and I think it would be fine. But I think the real magic of this is with 3 people that you have on Discord that are all playing at the same time and are all willing to just like give the game a shot and try a bunch of stuff and say like, oh, okay, I just tried this thing. This is what it does. Okay, now we know something new about the game. Or it's like, oh, I wish we could find a way to like put out this fire. Oh, we can do that in these 3 or 4 ways. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Because the game, I like it that the game doesn't really tell you anything. And they give you the real basics. And I kind of like that it's a game that's just sort of like, go experiment. Like, go figure it out. Go play with the systems and go play with the stuff. And try to figure out, like, what's the most... what's kind of the smoothest way you can finish this encounter? Like, what's the best way you can do this thing? Like, how fast can you do X, Y, or Z? And how can you kind of manipulate these systems? That's the stuff that I think is really fun for me, of just like playing these maps over and over and over again and being like, oh, there's actually a shortcut through this way that we didn't see before. What if we did this and that and the other thing? Oh, and that shaves off like a couple of seconds when we're going from point A to point B. So I liked it a lot. I'm really looking forward to playing it more. I'm excited to get more upgrades. I'm excited to do more missions. Each of the 5 missions that we played were all really varied. Like, one of them you're shooting these horrible things on the like the what was the mine in your control? It was like black something mine.
Quarry.
Yes, it
Yeah.
looks like that. But you're shooting these like giant eyes off of the wall, and then you're picking up these things that are giving you a debuff and shoving them in this cart. So it's sort of like I'm going to try and throw as many as I can in there before I have to go back to the showers to kind of clean all of this stuff up. And you get this fun kind of pattern out of this. One of them was there are these giant frost anomalies around the place. You have to carry around these heaters that you then turn on, and it kind of shoots fire out of three sides of it, and then kind of throw them in the middle of these ice things and let them melt. It's like each level has something, I think, that makes it pretty interesting and pretty exciting. So it's not just like I'm gonna be feeding something into a furnace every single time. Nothing like that. But I'm really glad this game is on Game Pass, and I'm really glad it's on PS Plus, so more people could try it. I think this is one of those games that definitely is a double-edged sword for Game Pass and PS Plus, of people just being like, "Yeah, I'll try that. Why not? I got a bunch of people," or like, "I'll play it solo," which again you shouldn't do. And then the game not really having a tutorial and not really explaining anything. And I think a lot of people, it's hyperbole, but a lot of people saying like, I only made it 5 minutes, the game didn't tell me anything, so I stopped playing it and I uninstalled it. It's like, I think you got to go into a game like this that isn't Control 2, like to be really clear about it, with a bit more of an open mind than that, I think. And if the game isn't your thing, if it doesn't sound like you don't have two friends that are going to play this with you, and you don't want to play with randos, I totally respect it. Like, this isn't going to be a game for everybody. But I think if you're going to try it, you should really go into it with as much of an open mind as possible, and don't just play for 5 minutes through the first level and say like, well, that was dumb, I guess I'm done. Like, at least try to stick with it a little bit. Firebreak is great. I'm sort of surprised with as much as the internet has sort of hated it so far. I was going in expecting it to be like a mind's eye level kind of trash fire that just doesn't really work, and it's a multiplayer control game through a bunch of systems that are really fun. So I'm having a blast. So listen more next week for, hopefully we'll be able to play it this week and kind of get deeper into some of these levels and get deeper into some of the more mechanics and do some more anomaly stuff now that we're sort of unlocking the base level of the game. But that's Firebreak.
Yep.
Tune in more. That's all I'm playing. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Alrighty. I'm nothing to talk about here in the middle, so are you guys ready to wrap this guy up?
Yep.
Sure. Liverpool's paid 100 million for a player. That's about the only other thing I forgot to talk about.
Wow. My goodness.
Yep. With add-ons, it might break the British record for player transfer. It might go to 116 million.
Jeez.
Yo, if you're writing an article about this, don't use the term eclipse, because eclipse has big meanings.
Yeah.
The current record is 115 million. If all of the add-ons are paid too, based on performances and stuff like that, it'll be 116 million.
Mm-hmm.
So just say surpass. Don't say eclipse.
Eclipse would be
It has a magnitude to it.
1.5 billion. That eclipsed.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 23rd, 2025. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate comes out on Xbox One and Series consoles. This is the roguelike hack and slash one. This is not the Strange Scaffold one. So that's already out on... is that out on consoles, or is that just on PC?
No,
right now?
PC only.
Okay. Probably consoles later, if I was to guess. I also missed this
Speaking
came
of
out...
Strange Scaffold.
Yeah, yes. I also forgot to mention this. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Sorry, it was the end of last month that this came out on PS4 and PS5 as well. So I think it's out on everything now at the moment. And it has 4-player co-op.
If you wanna get me into a roguelike,
there you go.
slap Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on it.
Yep, make it a cool beat 'em up. People seem to really like this. Really like this game. I think especially if you're playing a co-op, it seemed like a lot of fun. Next game up here, like Moon was saying, speaking of Strange Scaffold, I Am Your Beast comes out on PS5 and series consoles. The game that people seem to really like, the kind of first-person time attack score sort of thing with incredible voice acting. Happy to see this is on consoles now. I think people really liked this on PC when it came out. The
Neon White alike, I believe it was referred to as well.
Yeah, I feel like we need a name for that subgenre now of
gotta go fast for all the Sonic fans.
Yeah, they gotta go fasts. Yeah, so that's out on consoles. People seem to really like that. If you like that kind of like level over level optimization sort of thing, I Am Your Beast seemed really cool. Next up, Against the Storm comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and Switch. This is a roguelite city builder. So if you're kind of thinking of like making a city in like it almost looks like an RTS, like Warcraft 3 kind of style. If you're making kind of a smaller city in a roguelite fashion. Seems pretty neat. A roguelite city builder seems like an interesting idea that I'm not sure. It's one of those things on paper where you're like, okay, I think I understand what's going on here. But maybe not necessarily. You do like a roguelite Metrovania and you're like, okay, I can sort of see how that would happen. But we'll see. Seems cool. That's Against the Storm. Big release this week. Death Stranding 2 comes out on PS5.
I'm assuming you have this preloaded, Boston.
I have it pre-ordered, sadly not preloaded yet. I need to go see... I don't have enough space for this, I'm sure.
You need to go see a doctor? Yeah.
Well, yes, for sure, because I'm asking, should we have connected? But I sort of like memory hold this game and then saw it coming out this week, and I was like, oh my god, it's actually coming out this week. So I am very unbearably excited to play this game because I really don't know anything about this.
Does anybody is the question I have at this point in time?
I think that's the first question of like, can you describe a Death Stranding game in general? Sony just released a like what happened in Death Stranding 1 like story trailer that was 6 minutes long, and I was like, no, that's that's
not enough.
That's like 45 minutes too short, man. Like, come on. So like I don't even know gameplay wise what the improvements are. Like, I don't know anything about this because I feel like my natural inclination of this is to just kind of go in knowing as little as possible, and I'm sure there's like it's Kojima, so there's probably like a 35-minute story trailer out there somewhere. No,
that's the intro cutscene, dude. Come on.
That's right. My mom was the president of the United States. So like I'm really, really excited for this. My hand has been hovering over the button recently of installing Death Stranding 1 and trying to get the platinum on that. And I'm glad I didn't, because I'd sort of forgotten this was coming out very soon. So
yeah.
I just
honestly, like, I am super excited to play this too. Mm-hmm. I am not going to because I heard it has a very high completion time.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah,
which I'm perfectly fine with. I just don't have time to play it right now. So I am very excited to listen to you play it, Boston. Mm-hmm. That way I can forget everything you've said, and in 2 years' time, hopefully, pick it up and find it.
I'm sure my feedback about the story is going to be me shaking my head here in a couple weeks and being like, man, Kojima, What do you
Remember when we
Kojima,
thought a
Kojima.
flying whale that was on fire was crazy?
Right. Let me tell you about
Hold
Death
my
Stranding
beer.
2, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Where
really
do you
excited.
go from Wales? That's the question.
That's right. So really excited for this. I listened to next week's episode to see if I can figure out how to describe whatever the hell this thing is. We'll see. I'm watching
there was
this
like a
trailer.
Hydra on screen just now.
Yeah, I've
Like,
never
what the
seen
hell?
this trailer that we're watching right now and being like, what is this thing? What are you making? I don't know.
We still get to see him naked in a shower, though.
That's right. That's
Game
what
of
I'm
the
paying
year.
$80 for, or whatever. All right, next game here, Front Mission 3 Remake comes out on the Switch. Still don't really understand why these are only coming out on the Switch. Driving me bananas. But we were talking about this on Pup. I couldn't remember, but Musum reminded me that Front Mission 3 is kind of largely seen as one of the better entries in the series.
Yeah, because you can play it and it's not extremely unfortunately punishing. Well,
Yes.
it is. Just not as bad as the other ones.
That's true.
Yeah, 3 is real punishing, but 1 and 2 are extremely punishing.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the remakes did not ease up on the difficulty of those first two. Which,
There are very little quality of life things added to this game, which, for better or for worse, because I had a blast with these games as a kid.
Yeah, ditto.
But as an adult, I don't know if I have the time to replay and optimize a run on a map.
Yeah, so the first two, I think, were received pretty well. And the third one looks like it's more of the same, kind of like, hey man, you're going to do mech stuff. You're going to do Wanzer stuff.
There we go. Oh, I thought you were going to get through talking about this whole thing without saying the word.
Without saying
I wanted
If he
the
wasn't going to
W.
say it, I was going to say it. Yeah.
So these games are super cool. This one looks pretty cool. So.
And this one is also the one that, if I remember correctly, has 3 storylines, like completely different storylines that you can play through.
Oh, yeah, one of them did do that. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's this one, yeah.
Yeah,
this was the one that I played the most out of all 3 of them, and I really loved this one on the PS1.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't play this one as much because I played the Super Famicom ones. I never really got around to this one, but yeah, that's cool. These games are cool. I like these games.
Yeah.
Next game here, Persona 5 The Phantom X comes out on iOS, Android, and PC. If you couldn't figure out by those platforms, it's a mobile game. If you didn't know, it's also a gacha game. So do with that what you will. I actually know very little about this because I keep getting this confused with the other Persona 5 mobile game that Sega put out however long ago. And I always get confused with that one, and I was fairly sure this wasn't going to come out in English, so I was like, I don't need to worry about that. And now it's coming out. So I don't know, man. I'll try it. I'll try anything once.
Well, yeah, it's you.
Yeah, but like, we'll see how it goes. But I have a very low tolerance for gacha games at the moment, especially as they kind of continue to get more predatory as time goes on. So my time with this game will probably be fairly short unless it's kind of an outstanding thing. Also, like we're talking about on Pup, I'm just real tired of Persona 5, man. It's just, I'm tired of Persona 4. I'm tired of Persona 5. I don't really want a Persona 6. I'm just kind of tired of it all right now. So
yeah, I feel like they kind of need to take a break. Like I don't know why everyone is all of a sudden on these huge hits of we need to release a game every year. Just release a game and make a roadmap for DLC.
Capitalism.
yeah, capitalism.
I know why they're doing it, but they're ruining franchises that aren't designed to be released yearly.
Yeah,
and they never turn out well.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think it looks kind of interesting, but we'll see what it turns out to actually be. It releases sort of wide this week. So tune in to a future episode, and if I don't talk about it, then it's real bad or I forgot. Either one. You get to choose.
Probably forgot.
Yeah, probably.
It's forgotten because it's bad.
Yeah. Last game here on the list, System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Remaster comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, and PC. The remaster or the remaster slash remake of the first game by what studio is it? Night Dive. That was pretty well received, and I know people really
things
liked
about it. I hear such good things. I bought it on sale for $6.
Okay, there you go. I know this is
like, I played it yet.
Well, I mean, with all that free time that you have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that. I think the thing you've heard over the years is, yeah, System Shock is really good, but System Shock 2, like, that's the one. So
Yep.
I'm really curious to see how this one does.
It's a shame people couldn't embrace Bioshock 2 to the same degree.
God, Bioshock 2 is so good. Play Bioshock 2. Man, what a game. I should go play Bioshock 2 again. Man,
Mm-hmm.
what a game.
I bought the remastered trilogy of that.
Heck
by
yeah.
the way,
I was
as well.
just talking about how they should make a TV show based on Bioshock.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll see if that one can get out of development hell at some point.
Ask me if I've played the remastered trilogy.
I knew the answer is no. No, sadly. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
But hey, on the plus side, some lighthouse somewhere you have.
There's a girl waiting for
very
me. Uh-huh.
That's very true. Speaking of things we're going to be waiting for, Bungie has officially delayed Marathon indefinitely.
Good.
Yeah, I think the plagiarism...
And I don't say that lightly. I
No.
don't say that lightly.
I mean, they didn't
But the
cancel
thing you're
it.
about to mention
Yeah, I mean...
is like reason number one.
I think the plagiarism stuff that we haven't really talked about because it's kind of a sticky story to talk about. And we talked about it very briefly on the show a while ago of Bungie at some point had directly lifted images of a Scottish artist's work and put them in the alpha of the game. And that was bad, obviously. Like, pay artists, don't use AI generated stuff, all of that stuff. But the internet has kind of sort of taken that to the extreme and said, oh, well, they took the entire art style and lifted it from this artist. They did not. Like, that's very clear based on like the art of the lead person behind this game and a whole bunch of other stuff. So like they do genuinely need to go through and resolve the plagiarism stuff in the game. That is kind of like the front of mind for a lot of people, myself included. They came out and it's a lot of corporate speak, which has been kind of an unfortunate trend from Bungie for a while now. But a lot of it seems to stem from, hey, we did the closed alpha and it kind of didn't land the way we wanted it to. And I think the list of things that they have here on their kind of list of things to address seems pretty solid. They have upping the survival game. I don't know what that means. We can ignore that one. More challenging and engaging AI encounters. I thought they were already pretty tough to begin with, so like, okay, that could be interesting.
Maybe they'll just add like a perfect dark slider on there for you to choose.
Yeah. More rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events. That sounds good. More rewarding sounds great. Making combat more tense and strategic. Again, that seems like a pretty solid win. Doubling down on the Marathon universe. From people that played the original games, that seemed to be kind of not the biggest complaint they had coming out of this, but it was a lot of like, it doesn't feel like it lives in the Marathon universe as much as maybe they were expecting it to. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that, of like, how do you kind of continue to integrate it into the Marathon overall. Increased visual fidelity, that seems like a slam dunk. The game I think they were pretty honest saying like, hey, it really is in alpha, so stuff is going to just look kind of a little bit rough, but that's sort of how it goes. More narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with. I mean, that also seems like a thing that Bungie has sort of been historically known for, so seems like another win there. A darker tone that develops on the themes of the original trilogy. Sure. I mean, I don't think I had a problem with the tone in this game overall. I sort of hope they don't lose the style of the game, because I feel like that's been one of the biggest outstanding parts. Is just like, dang, look at this game. Like, look at the art style of this thing that a lot of games don't do. Adding more social experiences, whatever that means. A better player experience for solos/duos. That's huge. We talked about it when I played the closed alpha, and you guys were like, "Oh, but if you play solos, they only match you with solos, right?" And I was like, "Nope, they match you with trios." And it's like, "Why? What? Why?" So hopefully they'll. I feel like that's seems like a pretty great way to widen your player base. It's just like, okay, if you want to play this by yourself, you maybe necessarily don't get punished for doing so. And then the big sticking point for a lot of people, in a way that I wasn't really expecting, was proximity chat. So social stories can come to life. Apparently, that's kind of an expectation for extraction shooters, is that they'll have proximity chat, which I don't think I realized. But they're going to be putting it in there. That was the kind of the thing on everybody's lips, was just like, yeah, cool, but this game doesn't have proximity chat, so like, LOL, whatever. So
yeah, it's almost like they did it. I'm not going to do the math. Many years ago with Halo 2, when I would hide under enemies' bases and just start giving them so much crap through the proximity chat in the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the stuff that you're seeing coming out of Arc Raiders, especially with the proximity chat stuff, and how a lot of stories emerge and kind of gameplay stuff emerges from that. I think that makes it even more of a thing that Bungie needs to do for this. They didn't give a date for really anything in this. They said that you'll hear from us again later this fall, when we can share the progress we've made alongside the game's new release date. So I feel like they're just going to go radio silent here for a couple of months, which honestly is probably the best thing they could do at the moment. After the plagiarism stuff, is just like, okay, you gotta kind of shut up and just put everything into the game, and next time you show it, it's you gotta come out with a kind of a big showpiece. And
yeah, because like outside of the plagiarism stuff, the only other thing I've heard about this was, yeah, they made an extraction shooter, but it's not a good one.
Right.
And that's it. And fully understanding that it's an alpha.
Right.
Like, but it's like, okay, yeah, we have all these other extraction shooters, and if everyone's like, yeah, it's not even comparable to what we already have, and it's like,
Right.
okay, you guys really need to sit down and think about what you're doing with this game then.
Right, like, and if you're not even comparable to like Tarkov, which like is sort of infamous for being horribly punishing, and like,
yeah,
from what I see from the outside, kind of mismanaged from like a development standpoint, and who knows how much of that is just like everybody being grumpy about everything forever.
yeah.
But like, I think especially them getting out of the way of Arc Raiders too, because this and Arc Raiders were originally going to launch within a month of each other. It's like, you got to get away from whatever Arc Raiders are going to do, whether you think it's Arc Raiders going to be better or worse than Marathon or whatever. Like I think a lot of the attention has been paid to Arc Raiders at the moment, and like, you got to stay away from that for at least a little bit, I think. But yeah, like, they made the right decision for a whole bunch of reasons, and I'm glad they did, instead of Sony pulling a Sony and being like, just put it out and like, we'll fix it later, whatever, like, it doesn't really matter, like, we'll just keep patching it. I really don't think they could have done it. I don't think they could have done that with Marathon.
And Sony already has a track record of just put it out and we'll fix it in post, and we're not going to put any more money or effort into this now that it's released.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people are really happy to throw Concord around, being like, it's Sony's biggest failure. Like, look, it is the fastest video game failure in video game history. It lasted for what, 4 days? 5 days?
If even that, yeah.
Right. So
It was
like
barely a week, yeah.
Sony put literally no support to back that game. And that wasn't Concord's problem, though. Concord looked boring. And Concord was a game that was already a second ran to Overwatch and then Marvel Rivals. So like it was a game that was arriving in a genre that was already overstuffed and almost had no opportunities to succeed. And it seemed like potentially history was going to rewrite itself with Marathon versus Arc Raiders. Because you can look at Arc Raiders, and from a gameplay standpoint, it looks more interesting. From a feedback standpoint, from people that are playing the beta, they're like, this thing's a blast. Like, I want to keep playing this. Like, I wish it was out right now so me and my crew could keep playing it. A lot of that just didn't exist for Marathon. It was a lot of people, including extraction shooter fans, playing Marathon and being like, okay, that's all? Oh, okay, sure. Like, that's not the level of kind of ramping excitement you want for your game that was going to come out in September. So, like...
Yeah.
Good on them for making the right decision here. And I really do hope... This sounds mean, but I really do hope the thing they can do between now and whenever they show it again is shut up. Just don't show anything. Just say, like, development is moving along smoothly. We'll have something to show for you this fall. And just... don't show, like, go dark for the next couple months and just don't show anything.
And that's not mean at all, because what it seems like this industry seems to be forgetting is if you want to make money, if you want to make the next hit, you need to make something fun.
Right.
It can't just be something that you crap out and you'd be like, well, there's a battle pass. Why don't you guys want to pay $20,
right.
$40,
Fortnite does a battle
$50?
pass. Why aren't they buying
exactly.
this one?
It's like if the game's not fun,
right,
you're not going to have a market.
Right.
And the industry just keeps crapping out all of these bad games and just shrugging, being like, we don't know, we don't understand.
Yeah, like, why didn't our market
you don't
research
understand because you're not
succeed?
trying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, again, I hope this succeeds, because I think, for me, the appeal of Marathon seemed to be taking the extreme difficulty of the extraction shooter and making it something a little bit more palatable. And I'm not saying make it easy, like give it an easy mode for babies. But I think you can take an extraction shooter, and I think you can get it closer to something that feels less punishing. And extraction shooters started with Division 1. So, like, it's not an old subgenre, but, like, I think the tendency for developers has been, well, if we're going to reset everything every season, or every time there's a patch coming out, or we're not really going to have anything that extends from run over run. Arc Raider seems to buck that trend a little bit. I think you can find interesting ways around that and say, like, no, there can be a meta progression, even if it is reset season over season. Or there can be stuff like, one of the things I upgraded in FBC Firebreak, the first thing I upgraded was you sprint faster. Great. I love that. I'll take a sprint upgrade any day of the week. And, like, that's the sort of kind of, Moon and I talk about this on We Were Glycol a lot. Meta progression is really great, because in a lot of this stuff, same thing with roguelikes, same thing with some multiplayer stuff. If you lose a run, but you're still getting some currency and some XP, and maybe you leveled up even though you kind of you only needed that last 50 experience to get another level, but you lost and you got 100, you still leveled up. That's great. I can unlock something new in my skill tree. That's cool. I made some progress rather than you're just really bad at this game and you lost literally all the loot you brought in. You suck real bad. Wait, where are you going? Why aren't you continuing to play? Like, it's that kind of thing of like, you can make it more friendly. You can make it a more welcoming experience other than everyone in the community throwing double middle fingers being like, well, I guess you're going to have to be better with your no loot. Good luck. It's just like, oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying, we're kind of at a point, too, where within each subsection of video games, there's like that hardcore group that, you know, doesn't want the baby mode, doesn't want the meta progression, and that's fine. Like, if you can hit it off with that group,
you can call them who they are.
But I mean, like, if you can hit it off with that group, great, you found your market.
Right.
But it's like, that's the thing. We are at a point now where it's like, we've said it constantly on this show, there are so many good video games out there that we don't have time. The three of us don't have time to play that we really want to. That the industry can't afford to just dump something out there and be like, why isn't this working? It's not working because there are so many other good games across so many other genres of video games that we could be playing right now.
Right.
Why would I waste my time on this crap?
And like, there's a thing too of like, I didn't really think about it until you were just saying that, of like, maybe that's one of the reasons why I liked Firebreak, is like, I'm a 43-year-old dad. I have maybe 2 hours a week at max, if bedtime goes smoothly for 3 separate people, to play a video game with my friends. And that's what's great about...
I literally did the math on this at the start of the year based on like gameplay time on the Xbox, and I think I averaged 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, at most. Like,
yeah,
and like, that's what's great about Firebreak is like, okay, I have 30 more minutes. We can do this level at this difficulty at this stage, and that should give us like maybe 20 minutes. We'll buy some more skills, we'll do some more loadout stuff, and then we'll be done. Like, that feels really good. But if I'm going to do a run in something like Marathon or something like Arc Raiders, if I was a streamer and I was playing with my friends for the next 8 hours, yeah, sure, this run can take 2 hours. Who cares? But it's like, I'm going to do one run a week and then potentially show up with nothing at the end of it because we lost at the last moment. Like, that just doesn't sound, and it's not, extraction shooters, again, are not for everybody. That's kind of the appeal of this subgenre. But, like, that is... for a big AAA extraction shooter, that has to be a consideration, I think, of like, how are you going to get the 40-year-old parents that have maybe 30 minutes a night at best once a week to play the game?
And maybe their market is the 8-hour streamer, and they don't care about the guy who only has, the 2 hours. And that's fine, whatever. Not every video game needs to be for every person, but... don't you dare complain about it when your game's not doing great. It's like, well, how come no one play?
Right. Because I can play Helldivers 2 and get a run done in 30, 40 minutes at most.
And feel great about democracy.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, even if you lose, you still get something. So, like... yeah.
But whatever. It's 3 old men yelling in microphones.
That's right. That's the show. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Like we talked about earlier, please join the Discord server. Every other week, there's a group of people that are playing stuff. Right now, it's REPO. Keep an eye on the LFG channel for details there. If you're looking for people to play with for other stuff, hit up that channel. We have a bunch of game-specific stuff. If you want to play Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta, we have a great channel going on there right now. Tons of people that can help you. We were just talking about that recently this week of like someone, I don't remember who it was, I think it might have been Justin, came in and said like, I've never played this before. Should I play it first regularly or in the Fiesta? You should try the Fiesta first. A lot of people find that the restrictions on the jobs is a lot less overwhelming to get through for your first time.
Helps to narrow your focus.
Yeah, exactly. And if you need help, hit us up over there. E1M1.cash.
The ones in our bars.
If you want to support us over there, $5 a month is a recommended tier. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. If you can't support us financially, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Anything that goes on the public feed gets a video version as well over there. So you get to see the games that we're talking about, the gameplay, the trailers, etc. Please rate us positively over on whatever podcatcher you use. Spotify and the Apple podcast, those are the ones that help. Any podcaster that you love helps the most. So if you can do that. If you don't like the stuff that we're doing, or you hate trans people, then just go somewhere else that hopefully has you shut up over there. If you don't like our show, that's fine. You don't have to shut up. But if you don't like trans people, or if you want to hate on people that need your support and need your help, then go launch yourself into the sun. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Okay. What are your titles, Nimp?
I have Death Marker, Speaking Deadheads, Hello, I'm an Enemy, Mama, Ooh, 10 number ones, Big Brain Thinking, Level Myself Back Off, Cheat, 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 and quote unquote real fun.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
We are all terrible at melee, as unhinged as it should be. Stay in your lane, noob. Thanks for the trophy, wench. Tap that watch and go rogue. I wanted the W, and ask me if I've played it yet.
Hold on, I'm gonna write down. Ask me if I've played it yet. I want to lodge a complaint. 10 number ones, odd roguelike adventures, big brain thinking, and ask me if I've played it yet.
I really like as unhinged as it should be as well.
As unhinged as it should be.
I don't know if that's too long. Yeah, I don't know if that's too long though.
No, I think that's at the upper limit. Should be. I put a check mark next to 10 number ones because that was on more than one person's list. I don't know. What are we feeling? I don't have anything that's jumping out at me as the obvious answer.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the heat or the alcohol, but I'm not really feeling it right now.
I don't blame you.
I mean, stay in your lane, noob is a golden one.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that is extremely funny, but
age appropriate for us.
I'm gonna write that down. Stay in your lane, comma, noob.
Spelled appropriately, please.
Yes, Noob.
No, NEWB. Thank you.
It has never been spelled that. Fight. We have to remember British English internet slang. It's a little different.
Yes.
Like tire with a Y. Just a little bit different.
I mean, I've seen it spelled both ways. However, in my Call of Duty days, people can't spell, so it's always been Noob.
That's fair.
I mean, if I'm going to use the CAD explanation for it, double O's is someone who is just bad at the game. EW is someone who is new to the game.
Yeah, someone who took the time to be nice and spell it correctly.
We'll break them down. I don't know. As unhinged as
stay in your lane, noob. Let's go. I'm ready.
I'm good with that. If you guys are.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is the After You Game Podcast, episode 922 for June 23rd, 2025. Stay in your lane, noob.
Just get good, son.
That'll teach you to have free time.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Also, glad we didn't pick the Mama Ooh, so I didn't have to go make a text-to-speech version of that and insert it at the beginning of this episode.
I knew that was going to be horrific for you.
Yeah,
That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We do greatly appreciate it.